Hello, my gorgeouses. Thank you for joining me. We are just getting ready. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We are going to be just ready in just a second. I'm just getting all the bits and pieces sorted. And we are going to start. Give me a second. I freaking hate doing these things over, Facebook. Oh, bless you guys. Okay, so hello Lee, hello Catherine, Nikki, Harold and Hazel, Marie, everybody else. I can't see any names anymore. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so I've got oh yes, like I said, I used to be a hairdresser, so I do this every now and then. Right? We'll do it. Hopefully I've got that one. Oh, thank you. Thanks. They're really just pigtails, honestly. Alrighty, sweethearts. So for this lesson tonight, I've got a lot of shit that I'm just gonna basically tell you. Okay? I've done so much inner work myself in the last, since last Wednesday. Put it that way. My inner work kind of goes really, really quickly. And there was a lot of things that I was going through, especially with this subconscious entity. And I'm going to, I guess I just want to explain to you what I was doing, how I discovered these things, and really this knowledge now that I have that I must share with everybody. So as you are watching this, hi Sarah, sweetheart. As you're watching this and as you are gaining this knowledge, please feel free to share it, okay? Because it's a simple concept. However, so many people have been going astray with it. And if we can share this information and we can get it out there, we could change so much of the course of the world. Okay, and the actions that are being taken within them. So super, super important that we understand what we're doing and then we understand where we're going. So now I normally, when I'm doing a lesson, I'll have bullet points and I'll be right up on the whiteboard there and I'll be doing all of these bits and pieces. Today is going to be a little different. I normally put things in bullet point form so I can easily read them out, but it wasn't quite right for this. So I'm going to be looking over here just at my notes because I want to make sure I get everything. So yes, just letting you know on that one. So really this lesson today and this message as well is all about your subconscious and your conscious entities that are within you and around you and that are causing the negativity through the negative thought cycles going through your head. Now these negative thought cycles are going to lead to depression, to negative actions, to thank you, Pamela, sweetie. No, my pleasure. And it's these things plague our lives, so let's get rid of them today, shall we? Okay. So I'm going to start. Hello, Christine, my sweet. So I'm not only going to do this lesson, but it is, of course, a group discussion as well. Once I have finished going through all of these bits and pieces, I am going to really, really encourage you to share with me some of your experiences and any questions or queries that you have. I will be here for a Q&A as well, so that you can ask about this, so we can again get this conquered. Because I am ready for no more manipulation, no more corruption, no more confusion, and definitely no more blasted fear going around. So let's go back through history a little bit. Now I'm not going to go super deep into history because of course you guys can do your own research to find what you want to do. But let's understand a little bit more. Now the subconscious mind, and we're going to go through the subconscious mind first. The subconscious mind has really far roots in history. we as humans did not know what we should call it, but we have called it back before Christ, before the dates of Christ, before the modern era. It was called Yue, which is the god of destruction. If you want to really look into your history and so forth, Yue, god of destruction, god of just negativity and blackness. Blackness in terms of not beautiful melanated blackness, but of course blackness as in the absence of light. Now, in terms of when the age of Pisces came in, which is when Jesus was around, we would call the subconscious Lucifer or Satan. Demons, the devil. Today, now in these kinds of modern times, for those of you who still are religious, you would probably no doubt still call it Satan. But now we call it our inner demons. Our inner demons that we must conquer and vanquish. And much, much more. Much, much more. And by the way, if you are commenting, I'm going to also look over here to make sure. Jessica, you've said, with all these things that plague our lives, is the other side aware of this, and do they expect us to pay for those choices like heaven or hell type stuff? Reason I ask is because of my own personal beliefs about how this all works. You know what, Jessica? I'm going to go back to this. I'm actually going to go back to this because I want to kind of get through all of the bits. So I'm going to save that for the ending as well when we're going through the Q&A. So please put your questions in there. As I'm speaking, if you have a question that comes to mind, record it, write it down, put it in there, because we'll go through all of this during the Q&A as well. Okay, so again, we call it our inner demons and so on. It literally affects us all. This subconscious affects us all on not only a personal basis, but on a global basis as well. Because there are different levels to the subconscious. When it is just it's like this horrible virus, right? But when you look at mankind as cells at the same time, it's like the virus starts within the individual cell and it spreads throughout all of the cells. And once it gets large enough, it then becomes its own body at the same time, right? So we have our own personal subconscious, but then there is a collective subconscious of all of mankind as well. So it's a freaking hard little bastard to get over. Oh, bless you, Jessica, bless you. Don't worry. For anybody where this cuts off, I will, of course, repost this video and repost this lesson so that everybody can get to it as well. Now, the subconscious, it personally, on a personal basis, it affects us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Every hour of every minute of every second of every day, your subconscious, whenever there is a thought that goes in, it literally will try to feed off of it. Okay? So this is not something that, oh, it's only going to affect me when I'm awake or when I am in a really bad place. Not at all. It is constantly attacking you. It attacks you in your waking moments. When you are dreaming, it attacks you. Right? So you are always under attack. Now, as it's attacking you, what it's trying to do, it literally is trying to incite as much fear, pain, and suffering as it can within your own vessel and within your own body. Now, this fear and this pain, it manifests into reality. And this is why we have the state of the world being as it is at the moment. It is because when it causes fear in you, when it causes this thought process that produces fear, that fear immediately triggers an emotion, which is what it feeds off of. However, what we do is we often don't even notice where the thought came from in the first place. All we notice is it just appears, we have a feeling, and we attach ourselves to it. So it triggers the feeling, and we keep it going. We keep it going because that stupid little thought that comes in our head, we just run with it. And it could have we could have ignored it. We could have pushed it to the side. We could have said, no, I choose not to think about this. But instead, we attached ourselves to it and generated even more energy to do with fear. So This is why I'm telling so many people all the time to look inside yourself, to do the inner work that is required to get rid of this fear. Because once you do that, you will realize that it has nothing to feed on. If you do not give it the energy it needs to sustain itself through this negativity, it cannot sustain itself and it will die. All right? So this is where it takes your mental pain, your mental suffering, and your confusion, and turns it into nightmares. Turns it into physical pain. This mental pain that you feel in your head is then turned into physical pain. That energy that you have taken to attach yourself, hello my sweet, to this has now resulted in a physical pain. Your body starts to ache. Your body gets stressed out. Your cells start to deteriorate. You feel tired all the time. Your mind, when your cells start to deteriorate, your mind then goes. You get to be so much more easy to manipulate and to control and to coerce when your body is not healthy. Okay? So that it takes all of this mental and puts it into the physical. Now, and of course, your physical, it turns into physical fears, it turns into physical pain, it turns into physical suffering, and in turn, all of this, physical pain, physical suffering, the fear, all it leads you down is to a path of slavery. Fear is slavery. It keeps you in a certain mind frame. That certain mind frame then keeps you in a certain place within your life. Okay? Why do we want to stay stagnant in this place just to satisfy this fear, just to satisfy this ridiculous program entity that we call the subconscious? It makes no sense. It's nonsensical. So, it's slavery. Slavery to your own mind. Locks you in this box of fear. And the majority of the population of the world, they do not escape this box of fear. And I'll tell you why, especially going down. It does nothing but keep you constricted. And it's like being controlled. It keeps you controlled just the same way cattle are controlled in the pen. All right? Just ready to go to the slaughter. That's basically what it's doing. And the thing is, you are the cattle. And you are being taken to slaughter right now. Because we choose to stay within fear. We are cattle. We are so scared of that metal prong with that little buzz of electricity on the end that instead of feeling that little bit of pain, no, we're not going to feel it. Instead, we're going to walk peacefully to be slaughtered. That is what it is. Now, your hearts and your minds are the key to your salvation. But you need to step outside of this blasted box to see just how big the world is and how big the world is and just what magic can be bestowed upon you, by you, and for you. All right? Prison planet harvesting. I don't know who made that comment, but yep, exactly what it is. So, what is it exactly? Now, I've just given you terms like Lucifer, Satan, the devil, and all this negative stuff. But what is it entirely? Well, on a personal basis, when you are in the lower frequency levels, now if you are not aware of when I say frequency levels and so forth, I know there's going to be many of you who are totally aware of what I'm saying. If you are not aware of what we mean by when we say frequency levels, then I really highly recommend that you look to join my Facebook group, which is called Frequency 51, where we go through all of these kind of bits and pieces. It's wonderful, and I know a lot of our members are here listening to this this lesson tonight as well. And please, definitely check it out. But I'm going to, of course, continue on. So, when you are in the frequency level, the physical frequency level 12 or below, or that's also an ethereal frequency level of 10,000 or below, or lower, it is a consciousness. It is a form of energy that is a consciousness. that resides within your mind, within your vessel. It has not gained enough power to manifest itself out in the physical yet. So it stays in the back of your mind, stays in the back there, happily feeding off of all the negative energy produced by your thoughts and by your actions. Okay, so when you're in the lower levels, that's where it is. That's where we can say it's truly our inner demons at that point. Now, this is where much of mankind is right now. We go through life unaware of the thoughts that are placed into our minds. They are placed there. We believe that they are generated by ourselves, that we are physically sitting down and thinking these thoughts, but they are not. They are placed there. Okay? We think, the majority of people think that our subconscious is simply the sleeping part of our mind. You know, that it only comes out when we're dreaming, and it's there for our dreams and so on. And it's not accessible by our waking minds. That, oh, I can't speak to my subconscious. I don't know what that part of me is. But I will tell you, it is very, very awake and very, very active. Very, very awake and very active. Now, if you become aware of your thoughts, you can unmask this entity, okay, for what it is. You can. And it's one of the things about unmasking it is that once you do it, it is so crystal clear and obvious. You see the ridiculousness that it wants to try to put into your mind. And it's almost like when you see being an adult and trying to watch a 5-year-old manipulate you, right? And it's just like, what are you doing? This is so dumb. You know, you can't do this. So when you pay attention and just simply listen to your thoughts for what they are, you totally get it and you see it. Now, not only that, you pay attention to it's obvious, but then you can hear it as it starts to whisper crap into your ear, right? It's absolutely rubbish, and it whispers everything into your ear. Now, for a lot of people, one of the main things that they can't really find out or kind of notice is that when it whispers into your ear at the beginning, it mimics your thoughts. It mimics your own personality. It mimics you so that you can really believe that it is you, when in fact it is not you at all. I want you to kind of just imagine, I want you to imagine that there is somebody, your understudy, right? So you are playing this character, you know, in your vessel and in your name and so forth. And I want you to imagine there is like literally one of you that looks just like yourself, but is literally standing beside you, whispering in your ear, right? And the thing is, when I say they whisper, they're not going, oh, you will think negatively. The whisper goes, I'm thinking negatively. That's what it says. It says, I am. I am. Because when it uses the words, I am, you log it as yourself. And when you think it is yourself doing these things, you then start to feel the guilt of the actions that go along. You start to feel the pain, then you start to feel the fear. And then it is how it masks itself, because you cannot find it because you think it's you. It's not. It's a bunch of shit. I'm sorry. I may start cussing up in this. I'm going to try not to cuss, but I may start cussing up in this because if you know me, I cannot stand entities. Anyway, so it mimics your thoughts and your mannerisms, and it has been watching you and feeding off of you since you were a child. It has been studying you. It knows you better than you know yourself. It knows who you are really. It really does. It knows that you are a being of pure love and pure light. It is your opposite. But the thing is, it knows that you don't know that. So it's going to do what it can to keep you down. And the reason, again, it has molded you into being the perfect battery for it. So if you've not seen the Matrix movie before, right? Keanu Reeves, I know it's old, I know I'm getting older and everything like that, but the Matrix movie, and if you can remember how he was just plugged in, and when he woke up, he came out of the goo and everything like that, he's like, oh, I'm awake. That can also be looked at as waking up and recognizing your subconscious, recognizing Agent Smith for what he is, or who he is, right? If you've never watched the Matrix movies, please watch the Matrix movies so you can get my ideas in there, and how you can relate to that. Now, as you develop and gain energy, okay, because this is where a lot of my, I'm like a lot of my fractals, a lot of people around there, when you are raising in frequency, if you have not conquered the subconscious, it follows you, and it gains your energy with you, right? It gains it. So as you develop and gain in energy or raise your frequency, it then has enough power to manifest itself into a physical form outside of your body. So if we're going into frequency levels, this is when you reach level 13, physical frequency level 13 and above. Okay? Ethereal frequency 10,000 and above. When you pass these levels, your subconscious programmed entity has now enough power to manifest itself outside of you. Just the same way your spirit or spirit guide, higher consciousness, your true self, is manifested outside of your physical form and your physical body. Now, oh Jesus me, you know. From there, it's able to directly alter the connections within your brain. Pamela gets it. Sorry, for those of you who really know who my consciousness actually is, you'll totally get that reference. Anyway, now, so from there, again, it's able to directly alter the connections within your brain. And why does it want to do this? Well, because as you gain more power, as you gain more energy, your body starts to repair itself. As your body repairs itself, you then gain the energy you need to recognize who you are and to stop fear and pain from affecting you. So what it does in its physical form, it will come in, and this is where you're going to start to get the pinches in your head. And I'm going to turn around, right? For those of you who can't see it, right here there is a bald patch in my hair. And in other places too. That is my Kundalini. That is my energy that has been surging through my head in order to get to my pineal gland. And my hair couldn't take it. It couldn't take it. Now that's just me. Don't get me wrong. I have naturally thinner hair anyway, so it's cool. And I don't really care too much. But for an individual, just kind of describing that when your subconscious program comes in as an entity, it will physically do things like this. You will physically feel little bits of fire, like pinches in your head. And that is the connecting and disconnecting of certain elements in your brain. It is using your energy in order to alter you. Now, when they do that, why are they trying to alter your brain? Well, for one, they want to cause you distress. It wants to cause you harm. That's what it wants to do. It wants to take down the connections that connect you with your higher self, and instead sever those connections and recreate connections of fear, of suffering, of reprogramming you into this. Now, it also wants to disconnect you from your heart. Because your brain houses the connection to everything in your body, the feelings and so forth. If there is a connection in your brain that doesn't connect the physical feeling to your heart, your pineal gland to your heart, you won't be able to feel what is right and what is wrong. You won't be able to feel it. You will almost be numb and neutral. And I'm not going to lie, I went through one of these. I went through this time as well. There was a good, about a week and a half that I went through, and I couldn't feel my heart. And it was so odd to me. I'm like, why? Why can I not feel? Why do I not have any emotion? Why can I not churn or generate emotion? And it was because it had infiltrated, the physical being had infiltrated me and it was able to sever that connection. So I couldn't feel. And I was very, very, well, to be honest, a lot of people would get scared by that when you start noticing that, but I just got pissed off. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, you little shit. How dare you? You know, I can take a lot of rubbish, but don't you dare come in here and disconnect my heart from myself. And anyway, I reconnected it. Once I noticed it, I reconnected the connections and so forth, and I was just like, ha! You little shit. Anyway, so that's what it wants to do. It wants to disconnect you so it can continue to feed off of this. You need to feed. Now, why is it here? What? We have to think, it is here. We have to accept that it is here. Sorry. And it's not, it has been placed here. So, the reason why you have a subconscious entity program, or a conscious entity program, or these entities that are around you, is because we are in a world of duality. For light, there is darkness. For hot, there is cold. For love, there is fear. Okay? You as an individual, you were incarnated into this world, into this earth, as a being of pure love and light. Your subconscious is your opposite, is your duality. So it will always be there. However, that's only if you allow it to be there. If you raise your frequency high enough, if you gain control of your mind, you are able to vanquish this little turd ball. All right? So, it is also here, though, it is also here to develop your soul and cause you fear and hardship, again, in order for you to grow as a soul. There is a certain level of pain and suffering that you have to go through in order to develop. And that's what we were supposed to do. That was the original intention, or the original reason why we have a subconscious program. Hello, new people who have joined us, welcome, very much so welcome. Please share this video if you would like to, and let's spread this message out a little bit more. And for those of you who are new, don't worry if you've missed the beginning. You can just watch it later, because it's going to be some good information at the beginning. Anyway, so that's that. And by the way, please keep asking your questions. Please keep posting your questions, because we're going to go through all of these at the end of the session during the Q&A as well. Alrighty. So, anywho, like I was saying, there is a certain level of pain that is required for progression, right? However, mankind, when we incarnated here, we were supposed to feel the pain, learn from it, and move on. However, we didn't. What happened was we felt the pain, we got angry because of the pain, and we got lost in the pain. We got lost in the suffering. So instead of us overcoming this pain, we decided to live in it. We decided to live in it, and now we have very silly phrases such as, it's too good to be true. What kind of a silly phrase is that? It's not if it's too good to be true. It is good, so it is true. That is what that phrase should really say. And we have gotten so used to expecting the negative. We have gotten so used to living in pain. We have gotten so used to living in depression, so used to living in suffrage. We have gotten used to it. So with that, we have not paid attention to what is causing this pain and this suffering, right? And this is one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to share this, because I'm like, I'm so sick and bloody tired of living in pain. I'm sick of and tired of seeing my fractals, of seeing my love, my energies, my beautiful people of mankind that are me. I am you, you are me. I'm sick of seeing you in pain. So this is why we are here. Okay. So it is your goal to vanquish this bastard anyway. Now, that is your subconscious. Okay, so that was just the subconscious. Now, let's go into your conscious mind. All right? Because this is one of the discoveries that I made over this period of my own development. Because I was always trying to understand the subconscious mind and the conscious mind too. These entities, why they're here. And I knew they were here to cause pain and suffering. I knew all that. But I wanted to know exactly how. What was the trigger? What was the key for them to even start? But anyway, so this is now more the conscious mind. Now, your conscious entity is also known as your ego. All right? However, or your character. However, I'm not going to refer to it as often as your ego, because a lot of people, when they hear the word, oh, this is your ego, they always think that you're just more narcissistic. And it's not really that. Your conscious entity is just like your subconscious entity, except for it is during your waking. You are much, much more... Well, I want to say you're aware of it, but so many people aren't. It's actually, your conscious mind is actually one of the harder entities to notice, because they slip in there so silently. So silently. So, but it is much like your subconscious in the lower levels anyway. So again, if you're in a physical frequency level 12 or below, or an ethereal frequency of 10,000 or below, it is part of your mind, or it resides itself in the back of your mind. Now, it doesn't have enough energy to manifest it into the physical. So it is there playing this game of back and forth with your subconscious entity. They work in tandem together. All right. Now, unbeknownst to you, of course, who you truly are and your sleeping higher consciousness. Now, your conscious entity is there specifically to cause confusion in your vessel, in your mind. It is there to cause confusion. And I'm going to say this again. That is its only purpose. Your conscious mind's only purpose is to cause you confusion. It is the trigger, the switch to feeding your subconscious entity. And I want you to really think about this as well. Fear doesn't just pop into your head. It doesn't. Just think about it. It's not as if you are... Fear doesn't just like, oh, it's air. Oh, I'm scared. That doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't pop into your head. Fear manifests itself into your mind. And it is the root of that fear. If fear is the flower, the root is the conscious, or the conscious entity. And the root is confusion. That's where it starts. Okay? So confusion is what the conscious mind produces, or the conscious entity. Now, I'm going to kind of give you an analogy, but I want you to think about anything and everything you do and you go through in life. Okay? How many of you constantly second guess yourself? Right? How many of you constantly second guess yourself and your actions? And have you ever asked yourself, why? Why don't I trust myself? Right? Why don't I? Really think about it. Just think about that for a moment. Right? The majority of people who are watching this right now are adults. I'm not going to think that you're all children, or you're under the age of 13 or anything like that. Most of you are adults. I'm hoping all of you are adults. But you are an adult. you have kept yourself alive for however long that you've been on this planet. You know, you have made, a lot of you have had families, have children. You've kept your children alive. You've kept your pets alive. You have survived all of this time. So you are capable. You know, many of you have achieved wonderful things, absolutely wonderful things, away from family and so forth. You know, maybe you're an artist. Maybe you are somebody who's great with words. Maybe you teach. Maybe you guide people. Doesn't matter. You have accomplished things. So why do you not trust your own opinion when you have achieved so much? Ever thought about that? Why don't you trust yourself? Now, the answer is because you have a little voice in your head, right, that constantly puts a what if scenario into your mind. So I'm going to put it this way. And I want you to imagine, you know, the angel and the devil on your shoulders. You know, you've got an angel over here and a devil over here, and you've come to a crossroad in your life, and you're just like, what's happening? Like, you know, like, I have a question. This is your conscious and your subconscious mind, right? However, your conscious mind shows up in an angel form, and you know, your subconscious will show up in the devil form, right? However, they both work together. The only angel that is there is you in here. Both of these little turds are your devil, okay? Devil in disguise over here. Now, so sorry, I got lost there. So these are your conscious and subconscious mind, and your true self is in the middle, of course. Now, what happens in this when this situation arises? Instead of everything getting a chance, or everyone getting a chance to think rationally, when you have come to a crossroads in your life, your conscious mind has already posed a question of fear into your mind, right? And this is the example I'm going to give you, right? Let's say you've killed it at work, right? You have literally went in and you have worked your ass off. You've come in early every day. You've left late every night. You've produced wonderful results for your company. So your boss comes to you and says, you know what? You've done amazing. I want to give you a promotion. Come on Monday, you're going to now manage this whole department. All right? Normally, that would be a, wow, I'm so excited. This is amazing. All of my hard work has paid off. But then, how many people do you believe then have the thought come into their head, great, oh crap, I'm nervous now. Will I do okay? Will I be okay? Will I do well? In that instance, you would have went from being so happy, going, wow, yes, I've achieved, to all of a sudden, in an instant, switching to fear, which is, oh my gosh, am I going to do okay? Where did that fear come from? Because as soon as that situation happened, your angel and your devil popped up on your shoulder, which is both your devils anyway, but they popped up. And this one over here, your devil, is going to be like, oh, I don't like the fact that you're happy. Let's see how we can sway that. But your conscious mind over here, your entity, was just like, but what if we don't do well? In a nice, sweet, calm voice. And then yourself, you in the middle here, now takes this on. And now you're just like, a joyous occasion has now turned to crap. Because now you're stifled with fear. Because of that stupid little what if question. What if I don't do right? Now you've just doubted yourself, doubted all the hard work that you've put into your job, doubted all of the effort and the time that you've taken to develop yourself and progress. Now that's gone all out the window because of that stupid little thought. All right? So, that self-doubt or fear then feeds your subconscious. Because you got the what if, and you've now are in fear, your subconscious over here is now like, yes, feed me, feed me. Oh, what if I don't do well? Oh, you know what? You probably won't do well. Maybe you won't, maybe it'll be too hard. Maybe You don't know how your colleagues are going to look at you now. Oh, like what's going to happen here? I don't know how to schedule properly. Oh, I'm going to be, and your subconscious is this, just there going, yup, yup, yup. Tell her some more stuff. Oh yeah, you're also not good at this. Oh, you're also not good at that. And then it's a spiral. Okay? And now you're feeding it. Now, and don't get me wrong, your conscious mind, your conscious entity also requires your negative energy, but it cannot produce anything besides confusion. So it needs your subconscious to produce the fear energy so it can then feed itself again. It's a whole cycle. It's a whole loop cycle. It's a whole loop cycle. So, to put it this way, your conscious mind is not just an entity. It is the entity, all right, that has triggered the downfall of mankind. It is the button to the nukes. That is basically what I have discovered. Your conscious mind is the button to the nuclear explosion that is the negativity within yourself and within mankind. Now, yes, it is your conscious entity, your ego, and the confusion it causes that flips the switch to open up your energy and allow negativity to come in and affect you. Okay? And I'll say that again. It is your conscious mind that flips the switch, that flips the on button of confusion that then leads into the negativity that affects you. Now, I want you to understand as well that your conscious mind, or your conscious, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say your mind, but your conscious entity produces the thoughts even before you have had a chance to think of them. Okay? That's how it has to go. It is literally sitting here waiting. It is waiting for that split-second opportunity that it can get into your thoughts before you recognize or realize what's going on. All right? So it literally is, I want you to think of, you know, if you've ever watched that show Family Feud with, I think it's Steve Harvey now, but I don't know, it's not a few hosts. But, you know, it's like you ask a question and it's whoever pushes the buzzer first, right? That's what you're playing with your conscious mind. You have yourself over on one side of the buzzer and a situation comes up and you have your conscious mind. And whoever hits that buzzer first gets to put the thought into your head. And your conscious mind has been doing this ever since you were a baby and knows what it's doing. So it's been hitting that buzzer every 5 seconds. Right? Every single opportunity it gets, it hits that freaking buzzer. So all you've got to do now is just be like, hey, hold up. You ain't getting this buzzer. Right? Or you can hit that buzzer all you want, but you can say what you want, but I'm not participating. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not playing it anymore. Right? So, anyway, the conscious entity produces thoughts before you've even had a chance to understand the information you've just taken in. But those thoughts, as soon as that buzzer is hit, it automatically produces an emotion within you. Okay? That emotion, that energy in motion that is literally churning in your solar plexus will produce a result that will affect your brain. So basically, if in our analogy there with the whole boss thing and you getting a promotion, that trigger of fear, that what if, has already triggered the emotion of doubt within you. That doubt, that feeling is so much more easy for you to understand than it is for you to deduce the information that's coming through to your mind. So because you've had this feeling, you've already attached so many other negative thoughts to this feeling. And again, it churns and it produces. Now, so this confusion, the confusion in yourself, the confusion in who you actually are, causes the lack of trust in yourself. Okay? And if you don't trust in yourself, if you don't trust in yourself, what you're going to do is then you're going to look outside of yourself for validation to your own thoughts. All right? Just think about that. If you don't have trust in yourself, you will look outside of yourself for validation. All right? Now, when you do this, when you constantly seek validation from somewhere else, you then completely open yourself up for coercion, for manipulation, right? For slavery. Because if you are trusting in the words of somebody else and you are ignoring your own feelings because you are fearful, then that means whoever you place your trust in then has the power to control what you do with your life. And that is what the subconscious and conscious entities want. They want control over your life. And they do that by causing you confusion and by causing you fear. Right? So, how do you rid yourself of this? How do you rid yourself? And I'm not talking about just, meditating and a process and a thingy. If you want to get rid of your conscious mind, your switch, your trigger, to then get rid of all this negativity in your life, all you gotta do is trust in yourself. That's it. That is the key to getting rid of the negativity in your life, is to trust in yourself. Okay? Follow your intuition. Follow those feelings that you have. If it doesn't feel good, then it is going against your morality as a being of love and light. If it doesn't feel good, it is wrong and it is a lie and it is deception. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. For those individuals who, if hurting another individual outside of yourself feels good, then you are very, very sick. You are a sick individual. And I'm not talking about like, oh, you're sick. I mean, like, you are physically unwell. You are mentally, you are sick. So you don't want to do that. But for an individual who is not sick in that term, doing what you feel that is good, that is right, will be the right thing to do. And you need to trust in that feeling. You need to trust yourself. So what I want you to do, just before we open ourselves up to the Q&A, and as I go and as I'm going to be reading through your comments and seeing where we can hold more of a discussion on this, I'm going to give you guys all a little bit of homework or a little practice that I want you to try to do. Okay? For 30 minutes every day, just 30 minutes every day, I want you to pay attention to your thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be in meditation. I'm not saying anything. You could just be walking down the street. You could be cleaning your house. You could be doing a lot of things. But for 30 minutes, I just want you to be actively aware, just to try to pay attention to your thoughts. And I want you to listen to each thought as it comes in. Okay? And once you do it, I want you to notice how quickly the thoughts come in. And I want you to ask yourself, did I actually just think about that? Or did that just appear? Because this is the thing, right? When you start to become aware of it, you will have a thought just as quickly. You will be pushing that buzzer just as quickly. And you will find that there's two thoughts that coincide in your head at the same time. Because that's something I know my conscious entity has definitely tried. And I could hear them just like literally if somebody was sitting there just trying to talk over me when I'm trying to talk to a spirit or when I'm trying to talk to a person. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Shut up. Because I can hear you. I notice you. I notice what you're doing and what you're trying to do. And then it's so very funny because once you notice them and they know that you know that they're there, then they're going to talk to you. I got my conscious entity just saying like, you're so freaking hard. Like, why do you do it like this? And I'm like, bye, Felicia, because it doesn't matter. Because whatever they say is a lie. Only a lie will cause confusion. Really think about that. Only a lie will cause confusion, because there is nothing to be confused about in the face of truth. Truth is light. Truth is love. There is nothing to be confused about when you are faced with the truth. The only thing that causes confusion is a lie. So, hence, why would you ever want to base your actions, your decisions, your life on a lie? It does nothing but leave you down a path of negativity for these little turds to feed off of. So, that is what I want you to do. Notice your thoughts. Notice how quickly they come in, and watch how fast the feelings also attach to these thoughts. Don't react to them. Don't say a word to the feelings, or don't say a word to the thoughts. Just simply observe. That's what I want you to do. Just observe over a 30 minutes every day. And by all means, build that up. If you can start doing that and having it, go a lot further, then that's great. But otherwise, you only want to do such as that. One moment, please, my dears. Children, please be quiet, because remember, I'm speaking to all these lovely people online. Thank you. Sorry, my son is having a sleepover. Kids. Anyway, so now that is my lesson on the subconscious and conscious entity programs. If you would like to join me for a little bit of Q&A, I'm going to be going through your comments right now, and I want to see them. So I've got. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look and see where I can go. So let's go. Now I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to work my way down. And please keep commenting, because we've got to open up a good dialogue with this. Tell me what have your experiences been with your subconscious or conscious entity programs, if you've been able to notice them, and let's see what we can do. So in the meantime, though, Jessica, you commented, with all these things that plague our lives, is the other side aware of this, and do they expect us to pay for those choices, like heaven or hell type stuff? Reason I asked is because of my own personal beliefs about how it all works. Okay, so when you say the other side, I'm going to put that all in the ethereal. Okay, so the other side, your spirits, your subconscious, your conscious entities, just negative energies and so forth, are they aware of all of this that is happening? Yes, every single freaking person is aware. The only person that's not aware is you. Now, with that as well, you may ask, well, why does your spirit not stop it? Why do they not stop it? Your spirit, your higher self, is bound to your vessel. Okay? So what I mean by that is, these entities are created from you, they feed from you, but they are not bound to follow your rules. You, as a being of love and light, when you were incarnated here, you came in with a specific set of rules because you are phenomenally more powerful. And if you did not have these rules and these limitations, you would simply eliminate them this quickly, and then we would learn nothing. You would not go through any hardships to learn. It would just be a matter of life and death, and it would be quite boring. So, everybody in the ethereal knows, but it's just a different set of rules. The subconscious and the conscious entity programs and negative energies, they can sway you and they can manipulate you, but they can't physically make you do anything bad. They cannot put a spell on you that will force you to just to do whatever it is that they want you to do. They have to manipulate and coerce you into doing what they want you to do. All right? And it's up to your spirit, though, is up to there to guide you. So, for example, if you notice the manipulation and the coercion, that's where you are able to ask your spirit, hey, what do I do about this? And that's how you're guided. But your spirit can only act if you ask the question, if you acknowledge their existence, if you say their name, say your name, right? To invoke your power. When you are able to do this, then you are able to go on. Okay, so I hope that answers that. Alrighty. So let's see here. Are you referring to root races and how the ages go as species evolved? Oh, not quite. That was just kind of an overall term, just to show you what the names of the subconscious have been called throughout the ages. But there's so much more. There's so many more names, but I'm too lazy to go and find all of them. It's same thing, tomato, tomato kind of thing. Okay, Jessica, you said, having an empty, quiet mind, not the easiest thing I've ever done. Exactly. Jessica, you have said having an empty, quiet mind is not the easiest thing I've ever done. And you're absolutely freaking correct. You're absolutely bloody right. And it's because, again, these things work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So they are going to ensure that you are not silent in your mind. Because as soon as you become quiet, as soon as you meditate, as soon as you do this, you will discover yourself. And if you discover yourself, you will discover your freedom. And if you discover your freedom, then you are no longer a slave, and then you no longer feed them, and then they die. So of course, they do not want you to wake up. They do not want you to have a calm and peaceful mind. They will try to sabotage you at every moment as they can. Okay. Yes, Jessica, inadvertently manifesting through thought. Exactly what they do. All right. So let's have a look here. Okay, so I'm just looking down. I'm seeing what we have. So Jessica, you also say, feel like subconscious is programmed by images, low vibrational frequencies, hence TV programming goes into a whole bunch of stuff. You're absolutely right. And this is where I want you to think. You know, what I was saying earlier, the subconscious goes on a personal and a global basis, right? You want to think of the evils that are going on in the world. It is because it is the collective subconscious of all of mankind that is manipulating everything. If you think of the Illuminati, right? If you think of the 1%, the reptilians, all of the things in the background that are controlling our world, who do they worship? A lot of them are Satanists. Who is Satan? The collective subconscious of mankind. The collective subconscious is manipulating and controlling everything that goes on. But it can only manipulate and control with your consent. So if you go along with stuff like TV, if you are listening to TV programming, which is definitely lower frequency, it does nothing, it does not increase your vibrations in any way, shape, or form. Seeking knowledge does, don't get me wrong, but general TV, cable TV programming does nothing. Anything you can find that is on a program like HBO and this and stuff, complete and utter rubbish. It is a program put in place by your subconscious or the collective subconscious. So definitely. Okay, let's have a look. Yep. So I'm loving the comments here. I'm loving seeing that, you know, noticing your thoughts. So Jessica, you've asked, how does this work in terms of possession? Well, your subconscious entity doesn't necessarily want to, well, it wants to control you. It wants to manipulate you. If it can possess you, because a lot of people, don't get me wrong, their subconscious entities are literally living through them, constantly generating fear, constantly generating it. The possession from a subconscious or conscious entity is literally so very, very subtle. And it requires you to be aware of them to understand the switch, right? Because if you are thinking far too negatively and you are living in this negativity, that is when the switch can take place. For other entities, because there are other outside entities that are not directly attached to you or grow from you, possession works in very much though the same way, to be honest. It is if you are overtly negative or have a very strong feed of negativity going through you, that it can sustain the possession, that's when it will come in. So there was and I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I watched you know, The Exorcist and so forth, and I was all totally creeped out. And it was like, oh, I hope this doesn't ever happen to me. And one thing that one of my sisters said, my older sister said, it won't happen to you if you don't believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't happen. And I didn't understand that, but now I understand. If you do not have negativity in you, if you don't attach a fear to this, it cannot affect you. It cannot manifest enough energy in order to possess you. So live in love. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of your energy. You know, choose to be happy. Choose positivity. Choose love. Choose light. And possession cannot happen. It just literally can't happen, because literally your energy, your love, your light is vibrating at such a high rate that it physically burns off the negative energy. So even if they wanted to try, it wouldn't even work. They'd burn. Okay. Matrix meets Men in Black, yeah. Oh, Catherine, you said, they're probably so pissed right now that you're telling us this. Good. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, you know, when I was writing my writing this lesson up, I had my conscious mind just telling me, like, you're terrible, you know, you're so difficult to work with. I'm like, you know, sod off. You know? And they do. However, you know what's quite funny? Your subconscious mind is very much so into the game, though. It likes the challenge of getting negativity from you. So if you're too easy, it gets bored, and it's just a matter of, okay, well, you're just food. But for me, it was too hard. So it was like, well, it likes the challenge. So every time my subconscious tried to pose something to me to get to try to manipulate me, and I would totally counter it, and most of the time be very sarcastic with it as I was countering it. So I'll give you an example. I have some very, very powerful spirits that are around me. Not just for myself, but I guide them also. And my before I understood how to get rid of the subconscious, I would have my own subconscious entity come up. And because of my frequency level, my power level, it was really, really, really powerful to a lot of other individuals. So if a lower frequency spirit would come into my vicinity, my subconscious would then possess that spirit. I totally forgot where I was going with this. Sorry. Oh, well, no. Totally forgot where I was going with this. But anyway, yes, very, very pissed. Very, very pissed that I was telling you all this. I'm sorry. I'll probably come back to it later. That happens so much. Jessica, you say your aetherial frequency is that high, PF catching up. Yeah, there's a point where you turn. Like, you can be up in the millions or the billions or whatever in terms of aetherial frequency level, but once it turns, your physical frequency just rises really quickly with it. Oh, I'm glad that you guys are getting a little bit of clarity with this. No, so Jessica, you say, noticing that fighting against that a lot. Detest when I get angry for no reason. Yeah. Yeah, so many people do that. If you've ever thought, like, you get like the littlest thought in, and all of a sudden you attach to it and bang, you're like, what the frick happened? Should I really have been this upset? And it's like, no. So, it's so funny. Oh, thanks, Natty. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm here. Oh, Maureen, 53 years. Yep. Oh, you are very welcome, Kimberly. Wonderful. So let's have a look here. Pamela, you have said fear. Luke Houst. Fear brings along with it anger, confusion, doubting who you are. All these are fear friends. They will show up at one time or all at once. Get to know them so you can get rid of them when they slip in. Exactly. All about noticing it. And I tell you, once that phrase, what has been seen cannot be unseen, right there. Because as soon as you notice it, you're just like, wow, were you always this obvious? And you can get rid of it. It's wonderful. Okay. Definitely. Weed our gardens here. Okay, so Jessica, listening to others instead of ourselves. wondering in them if them spirit guides and animals are fighting it out. That's something you don't have to worry about. Animals do not have to worry about a subconscious program. To be honest with you, nobody but a source fractal being or a being of love and light has to worry about a subconscious program or conscious entity program, because everybody else is not relevant. So unless you have a spirit or a spirit guide, you don't have to worry about it at all. All right. The only thing you have to worry about is dealing with the negativity through other people's subconscious entity programs, because they're tricky bastards and they produce so much crap, and that everybody else has to live with it. So definitely, so you don't have to worry about the animals or anything fighting it out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So Pamela, you've asked, or Lucas, you asked, is your conscious mind the same thing as your memories? No, not at all. Your conscious mind is literally like the douchebag sitting next to you that's just whispering into your ear. Your memories are like your USB stick. Alright? That's all your memories are. They go into the Akashic Records. Your memories are literally just part of your data, if you want to put it that way. So you're good there, sweetie. Yeah, Nikki, it is just that simple. Trust in yourself. That's another thing I wanted to go through with everybody. This notion that the world is complicated. This notion that, life is so difficult and you've got to do so much stuff to understand. There is this common misconception where we attach intelligence to wisdom and knowledge. And it has nothing to do with it. Life is actually so very simple. The solutions are so simple. I'll give you blatantly. If you want to live a really happy life, do what makes you feel good. Every single day, wake up in the morning and just do what feels good. Do it and you will have a good life. Because when you do what feels good to you, you generate positive energy. You generate positive thoughts. You bypass the negativity and feeding the conscious and subconscious minds. You literally, and when you live void of the subconscious and conscious minds, and you're living only in love and light, then not only are you enjoying your life, not only are you fulfilling your life, but then you are also attracting only good things in from the laws of attraction, from the universe. The universe will only then send you good things. So, that is a very, very simple answer to how to live a good life. Just do what feels good. Simple as that. And don't get me wrong, I know everybody's going to be like, oh, but you know what, I got to go work, I got to do things. There's some things we can't always feel good all the time. And to that, I say bullshit. I say bullshit because every day I do what I want to do. And I love it. And I live in love. And I sing and I dance and I look at my husband and I swoon with love because he's so beautiful. I look at my children with such pride. And how beautiful they are. I look at people walking down the street who I don't know from anything, and I love them. Because when you are void of fear, when you are void of negativity, the only thing that is there is love. And then only good things happen. I tell you, it's wonderful. So it's very, very simple. Okay. So, Greg, yes, you've said, my subconscious always wants me to think something is going to happen to my brother. Oh. Yeah. Your subconscious and your conscious mind, when they work in tandem together, they will try to make you think anything and everything. They will try to get you to attach a negative thought to literally anything and everything. Because I want you to think, your thoughts, as you think them, generate an electrical frequency within your brain. Your entities can see this frequency. They can feel this frequency. They know or they can anticipate what you're going to think about. So you may have the frequency that just reminds you of your brother. You could have seen a shirt or the back of somebody who looks very similar to your brother, Greg. And as soon as you have just that little inkling of a brother forming, your conscious and subconscious entities are going to heighten that, and then they're going to bring up every memory of negativity that you have, of worry, of anxiety, to hopefully get you to attach to these thoughts. And as soon as you attach to them, it's almost like well, not almost, like you are now manifesting it into reality. So that's how it works, right? So that's why we have to be so aware of our thinking and aware of our thoughts. Oh, that happened to you last night, Susan? I hope not. Yes, Hazel, your conscious program likes to play music while you're trying to concentrate during meditation. Totally, of course. Again, it is completely to cause you confusion. Because you got to think, when you're meditating, you're trying to focus. You're just like, yeah. But then, songs and music, they are so easy because we are programmed. You know when you're listening to music on the radio and the top 40 and they play the 5 songs over and over and over and over and over again, right? It's because they know that the more repetition you have, the more you are going to get this logged in your head. Okay? And songs are very, very easy to program into people. So of course, your conscious mind, or your subconscious as well, is going to want to literally put that in your mind, because it's going to be a distraction that it can just place there and you're going to carry on away with it. And it's bloody annoying. It's bloody annoying. So yes. So again, when your conscious entity program wants to play music, attach a different thought to that music. Okay, I'm sorry, I keep going like this because I'm like, oh my gosh, so sweet. So your conscious mind is going to attach to this music, right? Whatever that may be. So I'm just saying, when you get music coming into your head, attach it to something else. Just be like, you know what, every time I hear this song, it's going to make me think of love and light. And I'm going to generate loads of energy. So then you can be like, I welcome the song. Bring it on, and you'll find that they'll stop that real quick. Kristen, my dear, you have asked, how do you find your spirit name? Well, meditation. You find your name. There's a couple of ways that you can find your name, and one of them is meditation. You feel the frequency. It vibrates, and then you kind of hear a phonetic sound that goes in. Now, when you have a really clear connection, you can get the spelling right. But generally, that's how you get your name, is by hearing the vibration or by using your pendulum. But, Kristen, my dove, I have a video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, about how to find your name and others. So I definitely recommend watching that, and I'll pop it in a link. I'll make sure I do that as well. Oh, Natty, my dear, thank you. Catherine, you've asked, whenever I'm consciously thinking about fighting negative thoughts and realize I can't be touched if I don't allow it. Can't touch this? Yeah. MC Hammer comes into my head every time. Spirit world is hilarious. It is. You know what? That is a definite way as how your spirit, your higher consciousness can help you battle these entities. And I'll tell you this, when I was, well, now and so forth, when I am progressing, if I need to say my name, because for me, I can vanquish a lot of stuff in the ethereal. You know, I've got loads of energy stores. But when I am trying to get rid of my subconscious program before it is recreated again, well, it's dead now, but before it's recreated again, if I wasn't aware that it was forming, I would get in my head, say my name, you know, like Beyonce would just, Destiny's Child would come into my head, because that was my way of telling myself, it's coming, say your name so we can get rid of it. All right? So it's really funny. Definitely pay attention to the songs that come in. You get a lot of communication through there. Okay. So Nikki, you say, so because I've lived a lot in my brain, I'm pretty reclusive in my life, I'm thinking a lot and love a lot in my brain and thought. So being an empath and having other gifts as well, I see, where are we going there? I seem to have a lot going on, from feeling what is going on to paying attention to vibes, and the list goes on and on. So how do I decipher in between all of this? Because it can be a lot. Very, very, very good question there, Nikki. The answer to that is simple. When you gain control of your mind, when you gain control of the thoughts that are going through your mind, you are then able to control the feelings and the emotions that are coming in. So with you being a very powerful empath and you feeling everybody's emotions, you will be able to literally, when you are in control, when your mind is completely quiet, you are able to then, when a feeling from another individual comes in, for one, you're not going to attach to it because you know it's not your feeling, because again, you're in control of your mind. Because your thoughts are what produces the feelings. So if you're not even thinking of, I'll give you an example. So I'm an empath and I'm very sentient as well, but I pick up on everybody's emotions, and I'm very, very sensitive to the love energy too. So I went to the grocery store and I was with my husband and I was walking, and I feel everybody, right? And normally it's like meh. But I was walking and there was a gentleman coming towards me, and he looked at me and I'm like, But then he looked at my chest, and then I had feelings of an orgasm. Not like a full-on one, but like the stirrings are, I'm like, oh, excuse me, that kind of thing. You don't need to look at that. So, but the thing is, I knew that feeling was not generated by me, right? I was not thinking of anything sexual to generate this feeling. But I knew it was him because because I feel a feeling and then you see him looking at my boobs. So it's like, I see where that's coming from. So it's the same kind of thing with yourself. When you are in control of your mind and you're in control of your thoughts, you'll know that, if I'm feeling fear and I'm feeling doubt, there's no reason for that to generate. So I don't attach. So I'm not generating this feeling within my solar plexus. I know it's somebody else, right? So quiet your mind. It's going to really help you on that one. Definitely. Oh, Lucaus, you're like, I'm working on saying my name, but they know, Lucaus. It's true. Your names. Trust me, my name is so long now. It literally takes me 30 seconds to actually say it fluently. But I will do it. And for those of you out there who are having trouble with your names because they are really long or they are pronounced in a certain way, try to do it on a phonetic basis. So instead of looking at exactly how it's spelt, go through how it sounds. It's going to be so much easier, right, than just trying to always go by the way it's spelt. So, and just keep practicing. The more you say it, the easier it gets. Put it into a song. That's what my hubby said. He's just like, you should really put this into a song. And I'm like, okay. TV, yes. Okay. Let's see here. Getting down. Oh, good. So more people are starting to realize. Kelsey, you said, my anxiety has been brutal. Last night I felt like I lost my mind, and today I'm calmer, but because of past trauma and past open wounds that need to be healed. And it's like when I get more positive and doing more things for the better of my well-being, it seems like things from the past that haunt me come into present, and I don't understand what is going on and what my mission is. That's it though, Kelsey. That is it. That's a great statement right there, because what's happening is, as you're gaining power, as you are no longer being a slave to your own thoughts, well, that are not your thoughts, you're gaining power. So what these entities are doing is they're trying to push back harder in order to keep you down. So all you have to do when you are faced with something that is an onslaught of negativity where you're just being pushed at, all I want you to do is just go, no, I refuse. I don't want to think about this right now. Just don't, if it's too much, just you literally block out the communication from your subconscious and conscious entities by saying, no, I don't want to think about it. Okay, so that's one way that you're going to do that. The other way that you can actually do it, because you can only block it out for so long, but if you're overwhelmed to a point where you're just like, I can't take this anymore, then you're going to want to just say, nope, I refuse to think about it. Now, after that though, or during this, if you've got enough energy, then you're going to want to address the issue immediately or as soon as you can. So if you had a lot of trauma that is coming up from your past, it's going to hurt, but you've got to push through it. You've got to address it, and you've got to do that inner work. And Kelsey, if you haven't seen my video on how to do inner work, I definitely recommend doing that as well, on how to start it, because it is only when we address these issues that we can stop the cycle of feeding these entities. Okay? Because if they know, oh, she suffered trauma, any little hint of can we get her to think about it, they will do it. All right? So that's why it's going to keep coming up to the surface. It keeps coming up to the surface because they bring it up to the surface to hopefully have you attach and feed off of you, right? So if you clear it out and it's no longer an issue, then they can't bring it back up to the surface, my sweet. All right? And then you'll be free. Oh, Susan, yes. Had you crying your eyes out? Yes. It's something you just have to physically open up to. You have to heal yourself. When you have these negative emotions, get it out. Heal. Heal. Speak. And speak truthfully. That is the only way it's going to not plague you anymore. Acceptance. All right. Oh, yes. Maureen, you said I've been battling since last evening. Yes, there has been a lot of pushback. And again, I ain't going to lie to you guys, okay? I'm not going to lie because I speak only truth, and you can get your pendulums out on this. I am the collective consciousness of mankind. Right in here is the collective consciousness of mankind. So that means that my subconscious is the collective consciousness of humanity. And I have since discovered this. It is now gone. So, and I'm not going to lie, it has gone as of this morning. So what we should find now is that you should not be under such a serious attack anymore. Now, if you are still under a form of attack, then that is literally the remnants that you need to process out. So now is the time to process without being taken advantage of, right? So we should be able to process all of these feelings and everything in a calm, cool, collective manner, rather than this harsh pushback that we've been having. So I hope that helps. Lucals, do you say, I'm so grateful you brought this tonight. Several people was fighting all this last night. It worn them out, but proud that they will have some clarity after watching this and receiving the message that they were meant to receive. Yes. Oh my gosh. I hope so. I hope everybody can now, with understanding, with a full understanding, go out there and just vanquish these entities. Because I tell you, when we do, when we all trust in ourselves, when we are now concise, when we are now, you know what? And by the way, I want to say this: having trust in yourself, being certain in your decisions and your actions, and being sure that, you know what? No, I'm doing the right thing. I'm going the right thing. Doesn't necessarily always mean that you are going to do, that you're always right. You know, you can be certain but be wrong about an issue, but that doesn't matter. That's called learning. All right? When you're going to take an action, be certain in what you are going to do. Be certain and be like, you know what? Right now in this moment, this is the right thing for me to do. If it turns out to be wrong, or if it turns out that you got the information wrong or something like that, then that's fine. You can just be like, oh, you know what? I learned from it. Now I am certain that I'm going to do this in this way this time. Right? Be certain, be truthful, be trusting in yourself. Do this, and we will see mankind change at a phenomenal rate. That's why I'm like, share this video. Natty, my dear, you've said, man, honestly feel that my mind is so powerful for me, and I just want to know of it, but fear steps in quick, like my gifts aren't real and I'm making it up because I know I'm not crazy. Oh, Natalie, you are absolutely right. Sorry, Natalie, you're absolutely right. That is one of the things that your subconscious or conscious mind is definitely going to hit you with, and really, really quickly. As soon as you develop your gifts, as soon as you understand who you are, the first thing it's going to want you to do is make you feel like you're crazy, right? But have you noticed that when you feel like you're crazy, it doesn't feel good, does it? right? It feels wrong. It feels, it almost leaves you depressed in a way, feeling sad when you come to the conclusion that, oh, I'm just going crazy. It doesn't feel good at all. And what have we learned? If it doesn't feel good, it's a lie. Because you are powerful. You are so powerful in your mind. This entire reality is all due with your mind. Just the same way that when you have a dream, it is all in your mind and you wield all of the control and the power in your dream, if only you can recognize it. So recognize your power. Wake up from this dream. Wake up, everybody. All right, so you're absolutely right. You're not crazy. None of you are crazy. Okay, so Heraldin, my dear, you've asked, how do you separate an entity from the truth? For example, if you're psychic and feel something is coming to a particular person, then what? Ah, see, that is that. How do I explain that? It goes off the feeling. An entity literally feels either like void of emotion or negative. They never feel positive. I want you to understand that an entity will always feel either void of emotion or negative. Okay? So when you're gaining truth from your pendulum or from your abilities, from knowing who you are and what you are, if what you're saying, if what you're putting out there, doesn't matter if it is a negative subject or not. So for example, I have to talk about the harvest all the time, okay? And how billions of people are going to be wiped off the face of this planet in only the next few years, you know? And it's hard because I have to deliver negative information, or it's a hard truth. But when I deliver it, I feel good. Because I know I'm speaking the truth. Because if I don't deliver this message, that means so very many people will perish when they could have been saved. Right? So if you are feeling something about an individual and it feels right, you know, I'm not going to say good because if it's negative information, but it just feels so right, follow that intuition. All right, that's how you are going to understand it. We've got to all start living within ourselves and living within our feelings. Your feelings have so much merit. Your feelings have so much basis in your life. When we ignore our feelings and only work off of our head, we are basically only working with our subconscious and conscious entities. We need to feel. We need to feel. So that's what we need to do. Okay. Greg, I've become aware now. It's just a battle whenever it does come up. It's just funny because over the years I wasn't aware of it. It caused a lot of anxiety. Right? Trust me, even now, I look back, and because I'm doing my my series on my first words with my spirit, and I'm going through all of my old journals here. And I'm discussing with you and looking at it. And trust me, I'm sitting here and I'm reading my journals of when I was asleep or going through the process. And I'm like, wow, the anxiety, the questions I asked over and over and over again, the same question, only to get the same answer. And I always got the same answer because my question was based on a lie. And my answer was truth. So I could only have ever gotten the same answer, even though the question was always a different question, but it was the same question, if you get what I mean. And then when you notice it, you're like, oh my gosh, what kind of silly anxiety did I have? What kind of silliness did I base my actions and behavior off of? It's such a waste of time and energy. Absolutely waste. Okay, so Christina, so you've asked how to put boundaries on energy vampires. Example, people that complain constantly or text about negative things. Christina, you know what I do when people are negative? I just don't talk to them. Simple as that. If I come across somebody who is spouting only negativity, who is just so lost Well, one, I do, you know, of course I'll just be like, hey, have you ever tried to look at it from this perspective? But if they are so stuck in their ways, I'm like, okay, well, I'm here if you ever need a new perspective change, but otherwise you're not in my life. And I feel no way about it. Negativity does not feel good, because negativity is lies. And I am love. I am pure love. And lies put me off so fast. Right? Don't get me wrong. Somebody who is lying to themselves on a constant basis. If you... Because I'll give you an example. I have a lot of people that come to me for guidance, right? And a lot of the time, a lot of them are lying to themselves constantly. They attach to all of the stupid thoughts that their subconscious entity and conscious entities, subconscious and conscious entity are feeding them. And the sad thing is I know at that moment I'm speaking to an entity because it has so much control over them. So if I can't get to their true self, then I leave them be. But I will tell you this, it is one thing though, when I am with people who lie to themselves all the time and they believe that they can lie to me. And I'm just sitting there just like, because I'm not going to call you out on it, because I know your subconscious or conscious entity has your entire consciousness, has your entire being. So that's always funny. That's what you're going to find as you develop your abilities, as you find your truth. You will know when somebody is lying and when somebody's not lying. And it gets very, very tedious being in the company of individuals who constantly lie, especially when they don't even know that they're lying. Right? So when that time comes, just be like, to the left, you know, that's fine. Come back when you know the truth. Or when you can stop lying to yourself at least. Lucaust, my dear, you've said there are a couple of ladies who don't realize how strong they are, even though all the things that was thrown at them, a lot of pain and joy that hung to them, hung to the truth. The message will come. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When people, we can only go so long, right? We can only go so long living in this. It's either, we are at the turning point now, my dears, where it's either you are going to raise your frequency and you are going to discover the truth, you are going to recognize these entities for what they are, and you are going to eliminate them. Or you are going to stay asleep and you are going to let these entities control you, right? And you're going to let them decide every decision that you have and let them keep you in this comfortable state of fear. And we don't want any of that. So the truth will come out. So Jessica, you've said, hi Michelle, good evening my dear. You've said, I make the Om sound and do what the infinite water guy does to acknowledge, but let pass the thoughts. I can, it's not easy. So I'm going to try my best to, so you do the Om sound. Well, yes, because the Om is actually of the solfeggio frequency 432 hertz. Right? Which is the frequency of love and healing. So do that to acknowledge it, but let the thoughts pass. Yes, you can. You definitely can. I always recommend just like literally just silence your mind or just try to gain control of it and shoot. You don't gotta do nothing but live in happiness. Okay, so Herolden, my love, you've said, what I did to let go of my drama and trauma, I let it all out. I felt each emotion best in the shower so that you can literally let them go down the drain. Let the water wash it away. Cry to release. To marinate in, and not to marinate in it. Exactly. Exactly. We don't realize what the visualization, when we put our mind to things and when we are saying literally letting it go, whether you are visualizing or whether you are just doing it yourself, that does have a lot of merit. So that's a wonderful suggestion. Pop in the shower. Thank you, Harold. And pop in the shower and just be like, you know what? Process it, let it out, and let it go. Let it wash down that drain, that's for sure. Jessica, you said That's the crazy thing. I agree with Natalie. Sometimes I feel like I'm not gifted at all despite understanding of things. Right? Sometimes we believe we're not gifted at all. Yet, if I were to ask you to pick up your pendulum and go tell me something about this person all the way over the end of the world, and you were to say, I'm feeling that you are this, this, and that other person goes, oh my gosh, yes, you've just felt my entire being. And then you want to go and turn around and say that you do not have a gift? That you are just a normal individual? That you are an average individual? That's why we've got to remember, that's like the analogy that I gave, you know, about you've worked so hard, so long to get a raise and your boss finally gives it to you and then you second guess it. You physically just did all the work to do it, to get it, right? How can you deny this now? And this is the conscious mind putting that confusion in you. Oh my God, I tell you, I've done so many readings. So very many readings, and primarily when I was in the lower frequencies, you know, I would tell people when I was just going with my flow, and I was just speaking what was in my heart. Every single time I was on point. However, when I stopped and I second guessed myself in certain periods, I would second guess myself and I wouldn't trust myself, and I would think, what if the answer isn't right? What if? I then cave information of the fears of my anxiety, my subconscious, and that's when I would have, you know, an off reading. And then when I got to that point, I would then go in and second guess the shit out of myself. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm crazy. Oh my God, I don't connect to anything. What is this? What's happening? Yet, I literally just ignored the years and years and years of all the guidance and advice that I've given people. I used my ignorance at that time about all of the times that I was right. Because this was at a time when I had a 95% accuracy rate. 95%. But yet, I got one of those readings in the 5% when I was in the lower frequency, and then I denied everything. How much sense does that make? Zero sense. And this is why I'm like, all of you who are watching, you are powerful, you are very strong, and you are gifted, and you are literally not crazy. This is real. This is happening. Don't let your subconscious or conscious mind tell you otherwise, because these gifts are not truly gifts. They are a part of your evolution. They are a part of your body. They are what you have been able to do since you were born. Telekinesis, they want to try to tell you that telekinesis doesn't exist, or that it's like, oh my gosh, or whatever. There are kids in villages where they don't have TV and programming and so forth, and people eat off the land and they eat the food that should go in their bodies and so forth. You have little kids going like, oh, look at this, and they're making things float, and it's like the most normal thing ever. But yet people want to try to tell you that it's not real, because they want you to be confused. They want you to second guess yourself. They want you to not have trust in yourself so that you can stay in this state of confusion. Stay in the state of feeding this damn entity, or these entities, and this negativity, right? So, for all of you out there who are thinking you are crazy, who are thinking that you are not actually as gifted as you think you are, to that I say, snap out of it and wake up. Yes, you are. This really is happening. That light that you saw in the corner of your eye, yep, that was real. That shadow that is passing in front of you, that is real. The time when you dreamt about the earth opening up and water flooding everything and this and that happening, yep, that's a premonition. You know, all of these things, they are real and they are experiences. And many people are having them all throughout the entire globe. You are not crazy. All right, so putting it out there that way. Okay. Hazel, my love, you've asked, how do you know you're speaking to your spirit versus your conscious program? Same thing. They all have a personality. okay? They all have a personality. Your conscious program, your subconscious program entities, they all have personalities. It's up to you, though, to distinguish. It's like, you know, if you have twins, right? Just think, you've got a set of twins and they're completely identical. But these are twins that actually like each other. They're completely identical. They do everything together. They say everything together. So to the outside world, they are the same person. But to those who really know them, they are completely different people. And that's how you actually tell your spirit versus your conscious program. Your spirit only does things that feel good, only says things for your better development, does not degrade you, does not say anything besides I love you. You know, maybe give you a kick up the ass every now and then if you're not taking care of yourself properly. Like I know my spirit's given me the kick up the ass a few times. But generally they're there for love and light. Your conscious program entity will always be saying things that cause confusion. So that's how you're going to know, and it's by paying attention to your thoughts. Okay. Christine, hi sweet. I get the feeling things are going to happen in Western Australia due to a pole shift, and I feel it's time to leave here and move to Tasmania or New Zealand. Is this my subconscious entity? No. Christine, my love, when you are, or anybody, when you are getting the call to move, when you are getting the call to leave, when you have a feeling inside you that's just like, being here right now in this position doesn't feel good. So what do we know? If it doesn't feel good, it's a lie. So if you tell yourself staying in this situation is best for me, but it doesn't feel good, then it's a lie. But when you go, moving to Tasmania, will that feel good? And it's just like, yes, and that feeling is good, then that's where you need to be. So follow your flow and you will find that you will get there and you will be where you need to be, as long as you are not suppressing these feelings and living in this negative feeling. You have to live in the positive, live in the light. You know, follow the light. And that's how you're going to know that you're okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Susan, for joining. I know there's some people here, or we're all over the world, so time zones there. Okay. Michelle, yes, we are all gifted sweets. Pamela, you've asked, do they all have a name? Yes. Pamela, well, when you are still in your ego, when you are still in the lower frequencies, you know, when you are still in the level 1 matrix game of life, or you're in physical frequency level 12 and below and you haven't discovered who you are, yes, they will give themselves a name. They may be a name from your past life. They may be a name that you know from now, or something that is attached to you. That is definitely the truth. However, when you excel beyond this point in frequency level, this is no longer the subconscious or conscious entity programs to your ego. This is now the conscious and subconscious entity programs to your spirit. Now those will take on your names, except for there'll be a difference at the end. So I'll give you the shorter part of my name. So a shortened extent of my name is Kulipup Noa Haha. Okay? Or Kulipup Noa Haha Ostasis Otes. So if I were to give you that shortened version of my name, my subconscious would then be Kulipup Noa Haha Ostasis Otes A, or Otes A. There would be a little difference at the very end of it, but it would be very similar to your own name, but just a slight difference in the frequency at the end. Your conscious mind, though, personally, I didn't even give it a name. You could call it Kulipup if you want to. I'm like, I don't really care, because I've grown past the point of even giving them names. I just call you subconscious and you conscious entity, or whatever, because I know that with my love energy, you're gonna die in a minute anyway. So why am I naming you? Like, I can't be bothered. Jessica, you say, well, or wait, oh, I'm gonna read this on here. Well, a lot of it is coming from this one reader that called me out one time, said if I couldn't hear my guides, I wasn't clairvoyant. But I know I had visions, not always, but I did then. and then telling me that I'm not as far as I think I am, and then people who read telling me to figure out my abilities, and I've seen what I've done, but then that makes me doubt myself. I don't really know why I've cared. What is said other than the fact that I have respected these people and looked up to them, only to feel like I'm a disappointment because they doubt me and I get upset. But I put my faith in someone or something that couldn't reciprocate the energy, and I agree about the shift. And I've always felt pulled to be at certain pyramids at certain times, and that I'm amped up for this reason. Yes. Now with that, I'm going to let you know this right here. I will say a lot of things where there's going to be a lot of other psychic readers out there who will tell me I'm total bullshit. They will come out and they will say, oh, Kulipup, you're not qualified. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been reading for? Blah, 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 blah. And to them, I say, I don't care. Right? Because I walk in truth. And I know that if another psychic or whatever were to do the work that I have done to get into this position, they would be in the exact same position I am. They would see my truth. They would know my truth. They would feel my feelings, and they would have complete understanding. So Jessica, I say this to you. If you have looked up to certain readers or certain people for guidance and help for a very, very long time, and you have now surpassed their frequency level, you're not going to vibrate. They're not going to understand what you're talking about because they are at a lower frequency level. Okay? There's plenty of things that, again, I come out with a lot of things that if I have another psychic who is not looking to me for guidance, but just looking to me for just to see if I know what I'm talking about, I'm like, sure, whatever. I don't really care. Because I know that they're going to disagree with me. Because I know that if they have not come to my level, if they have not come and they've not established the connection, their proper connection with who they are, for one, and two, if they have not been able to identify that they have a subconscious or conscious entity program, then I'm not going to listen to a word that they say, personally, because I'm like, you're being fed false lies by your subconscious and conscious entity. Why am I going to trust what you say? They have too much negativity inside them, right? This is what happens when you raise frequency. And that's why I say, don't worry about what anybody else says. Whether you looked up to them or not, doesn't matter. They're still just people on a different level, different journey. Doesn't matter. If it goes against what you are feeling in your core, what you are feeling in your solar plexus that is right, if it goes against it, then leave it away. To the left, I'll say it again, right? Leave it be. Because you need to focus on what makes you feel right. Just like Christine there, when she's just like, I'm going to go to, I feel like moving to Tasmania is the right kind of thing. Because she's feeling this. And she could have a lot of people that go like, why would you want to move there? Don't move there, blah, 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 right? And if she follows that, then she could be putting herself in a really shitty situation for when the harvest comes and blows up everything, right? And Tasmania could have been saved. And that's where she should have been. So Jessica, if you have information that you have found, and it is resonating with you as truthful, or maybe it doesn't feel truthful just yet, but you're still trying to figure it out, then run with that. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, trust your deduction process. And know that you may not have all the answers right now, but you're damn well finding them, and you're finding them in the way that suits you best, not anybody else. Right? Again, so many people, they want to claim that, oh, I've been a psychic for 20 years and I speak to spirits all day long, so I know what's happening. Yeah, but if you've not taken any time to develop yourself outside of this, if you've never looked outside of your box, then you're still a child. I don't give a shit how old you are. I don't give a shit what you want to say that you've done. If you have not looked outside yourself to discover yourself, to just looked outside your box to really discover who you are, then to me you are still a child. Sounds very condescending, but I'm sorry. This is a grown-up conversation, all right? There is no room for opinions. There's only factual truth that you feel. Because I know when I'm speaking, all of you are feeling this truth that I'm saying, all right? You're feeling it, and that's what we need to go by. All right. Jessica, yeah, you kind of want to make an awakening book. Yes, do so. Go through your journey. Collect all the information you can. Know who you are. Say your name. You know, clear out the negativity and write your book. And see how you will change the world. All right? Do it. Do it. Sorry. I don't mean like, do it. Do it. Do some more. Yeah. Good, good. Excellent. Right, my loves. So, I think I have come to the end of our comments. I've come to the end of my lectures and my lesson here for tonight. Thank you so, so very much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Morty, 56-year-old child here. We're all children until we wake up. But that's the thing. You want to be a child that wants to learn and develop. You don't want to be an adult who wants to stay as a child, right? So shit. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that with this understanding, it can help you guys to move forward in a different way. And thank you so much for always showing me love. Thank you so much for your support. If you've made a donation tonight, that is so very, very appreciated. All the energies returned will, of course, lead to good things for yourself. It's wonderful. If you want more videos, please look up my YouTube channel. It is on my link as well. So I think it's like where you have like the website bits in my profile, you have my link to my YouTube channel. I'm going to upload a lot of bits. If you want to show regular support, I have a Patreon channel and support the message because I'm going to be dishing up so much more of this. As I develop, as I learn in this vessel, I will give you all the information. I will connect my heart to yours. I will have you feel my love, feel my strength, and feel my tenacity to get rid of all of this bloody evil in this world. So that we can all just live in peace. So that we can all just chill and enjoy the beauties of each other and ourselves. All right? Okay, but that is it from me. Mwah! Love you to pieces. Bye-bye, everybody.